Hi everybody, my name is Darryl One and I'm Music Director of the Victoria Symphony Orchestra, and I'm here to give you a quick video on where the magic happens and give you a tour of my own personal studio where I prepare for all my performances for the Victoria Symphony Orchestra. I'm in my house upstairs right now, and as you can see down there, there's the piano where I often do my pre-concert talks for all of the concerts. So it's down there, but my office is upstairs. So let's go to the office. So here we are at the door to my office. I like to look at this every time I go in. It's a great quote from John F. Kennedy. The life of the arts, far from being an interruption, a distraction, in the life of a nation, is close to the center of a nation's purpose and is the test of the quality of a nation's civilization. That's why we do this. And I have a little something here that my kids made for me a long time ago when they were little. And now for a wide shot coming into the office. Now let me tell you a little bit about my personal space here. Got a little section here with some pictures of my conducting career. A couple other fun little things that I got. You all remember them. And other things. Some books. Copy machines, of course. And a whiteboard for my tasks. And pictures of people. I think you know who they are. Every conducting studio has to have their collection of music, CDs of course. And I have this wonderful little carousel that has everything on it. And here's my keyboard that I use to do my studying of the scores. And here I look upon with a little bittersweet memory. They're the two scores that we were going to be presenting for you in April before we had to cancel those concerts. The Saint-Saëns Piano Concerto number 2, which is going to be the last of the Clyburn projects, number 5, and the Strauss Alpine Symphony, a momentous work. And hopefully we'll be able to bring this concert back to you next season. So here's hoping that everything will be over by then, things will be up and running, and we'll be back in the concert hall again to bring wonderful music to you all. Here's a mirror, and it's not for vanity's purpose. It's a mirror for me to look at myself and watch as I conduct, because in order to be clear to the musicians, I need to make sure that my beat is in the right spot and that its subdivisions are clear, and I'm showing everything, including the character and the feel of the piece. And so I have this mirror here so I can practice that. And then I have a desk with all the requisite things in it. Here's my stereo system for listening to music and recording music. And I've got a fairly large monitor here. And of course for study, all conductors need pencils, and more pencils. Music dictionaries, of course, at the front, and even more pencils. And then we have a big computer screen here, which I use for, I need a big one because as you can see here, I'm editing video. And that's how I edit and put together all the videos for our YouTube channel. So right now I'm putting together our VSO Viral videos, and different people, our principal players and many others, that will be doing videos that we will be releasing on every Sunday going into Monday. So every week you'll have a video, a personal video of the players doing a small performance and talking about themselves. So I'll be doing the editing here like I've been doing for all our YouTube channels. Some of you probably recognize this, and some of you may not if you're younger. My turntable. And then I have a shelf here which I place all my scores for performances that are coming up. So I like to have them all set, and maybe recordings if I have them for study. And of course, I need an energy boost from time to time, like we all do. So that's why I have these. And of course, there's the Staff of Life. Now, whom I like to be reminded of who I'm doing this for. And that's my family, my wife, Debbie, and my older daughter, Rebecca, and Rachel. Are now grown up in careers and married. I need a green space. My ficus tree, which has been around for a long time, even before Victoria. And then I've got my set of shelves that have all my scores and books on them. Another table here where I've got my other scores out. And this also doubles as an exercise area for the family. I've got a treadmill here, some weights and more weights down there, and other things that Debbie and I use to keep ourselves fit in this time. And that's our office. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've got here. First of all, these shelves are just kind of sort of an industrial steel sort of shelf. But these were used to house some of the most valuable music probably in the nation at the Sibley Library at the Eastman School of Music. They use these shelves to store the music of some of the great American composers at the turn of the century and into from the 1900s onward. And they of course replaced it with new things, and so they had these shelves, and I bought them for like $10 a piece. And they're pretty tall and very strong to hold anything, and very adjustable. And so ever since my days as the Rochester Philharmonic resident conductor, I bought these and carried them around with me ever since, and they've served me well. So on the top shelves here of books, this one, I have all of my resource reference books. And these, the New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians, is the go-to set of encyclopedias. And I use those to do all my research on all the programs I'm bringing to you, the composers, their backgrounds, all sorts of things like that. Followed by books about composers. I've studied them all. There's one on Stravinsky, Mahler, Barber, Shostakovich, and conductors too, like Leonard Bernstein and Pierre Boulez, Simon Rattle, Sir George Solti with the Chicago Symphony, more conductors, and then more books about music. Got books about an analysis of pieces that by other people, so I can benefit from their knowledge of how they think these pieces are put together. Opera scores. And then on the next two shelves down are orchestral scores. So if we get over here, starting from letter A, from John Adams and Johann Sebastian Bach, to of course Beethoven, Bernstein, Brahms, and so forth, going all the way across alphabetically, Holst, Mendelssohn, Mozart, and then back over to this side to Prokofiev, Puccini, Ravel, Rachmaninoff, Schubert, Shostakovich, Sibelius, Stravinsky, Tchaikovsky, and the big scores, Nutcracker. And as you can see, the scores are all different sizes too. You've got what we call miniature scores, not very big. And then we've got much larger scores like this of Gustav Holst's The Planets. And we've got different scores. We've got scores from Russia. That's Khachaturian. French scores, German scores, Russian scores, all different types. And so that's my score shelf. And then on the lower shelves, I've got more books on music. I've got bowings from other orchestras that I've used for hours and ones we keep for hours. And then I have something that is coming back, vinyl. This is a box set of the Beethoven 9 Symphonies with Chicago Symphony and Sir George Solti, which I purchased when I was just getting out of high school. And it was like the news that this was coming out. And all the rest of my vinyl. And something that some of you will recognize. Cassettes, which I've got recorded all my performances from when I was in college, conducting college orchestra, and all the way through some of the professional ones before we went digital. And also oversized scores, big, large, huge scores, and they're pretty big. I mean, I've got big scores like this one. Kind of hard to get at these. So I've got all my scores here, right, and all my reference books, which I can use for study, and pull them all down, set my table, set my scores out, set them all up and ready for study, and sitting at my desk where I can do some research on it. I can do listening of vinyl, or I could be doing listening of CDs, and doing my study in my studio here. And so that's a private tour of my personal studio where I do my studies, where I do the videos, where I do my composing, where I do all the things that go into producing an orchestral season, as I do every year for you all with the Victoria Symphony Orchestra. So this is where the magic happens. This is where the study happens, all the work before I finally get there and we meet the musicians and we put everything together. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you all stay safe during this time, and I hope you've enjoyed this midweek music director message. And hopefully I'll be doing more of these as the weeks go on. So please stay safe, and it's wonderful to be doing this for you, and I'm looking forward to performing for you again in the future. Thanks.